Professor Bhaskar Ramamurthy ji, Director IIT Madras, Professor Andran, Professor Sanjay Bajpayee, all the other distinguished faculty members, scientists, research fellows, administrative heads of IIT Madras and guests, and of course the omnipresent media friends. Well, it's a very happy moment for me. In fact, when we organized the India International Science Festival in Chennai, IIT Madras was also one of the important partners. But I don't remember if I had the occasion or the privilege to be here at that time, although there were a lot of activities happening here also. But officially, I think this is probably the first time I'm coming to IIT Madras. I have been to Chennai many times for many reasons, for visiting our science laboratories, for science functions, for the India International Science Festival, environmental things, etc. But this is probably the first official visit at as Science and Technology Minister to IIT Madras. I'd heard a lot about, though IITs are all privileged institutions. I have been to IIT Kharagpur, IIT Delhi, IIT Mumbai also, but never to IIT Madras. And I had always heard a lot of good things about IIT Madras, and especially the focused research activities happening here in this campus, and especially the support that is organized in close collaboration with the industry for the startup movement in this country. And just now, while I was coming to this particular auditorium, I could have a glimpse of how good you are doing with all these sophisticated and well advanced state-of-the-art type of research campus whose feel I can enjoy. Maybe I haven't gone inside, but I could really appreciate that whatever I used to hear about IIT, it is probably the same. And so it's a very happy moment for me. And being part of this activity, which is supported by DST. In fact, DST supports hundreds and I would say thousands of activities all over the country in various forms in academic institutions and other places. And it's virtually not possible to be part of every function or every mission that is supported by DST. So, but when I got this suggestion and the invitation from IIT also, and of course from my departmental colleagues in DST, that I must go to IIT Madras. So I thought it was a good occasion to be in the company of all of you great scientists and spend a few hours here. And all these three subjects for which we have these missions being launched today, I think they are very important subjects, very prestigious subjects, and the subjects which are not only the ones which are the need of the hour for the country, which have to be supported by a country from all quarters, but they are some of the most passionate subjects around which the Prime Minister also looks forward towards the ability of the scientists to work and help in these national missions, to work for clean energy and then to work for sustainable water solutions, and of course thermal solar energy used for desalination, etc. I think they are very, very important subjects. As you also, first of all, let me thank you, and let me also congratulate all the scientists here, and more particularly the ones who have been uh, who are going to be involved in these missions specifically. And I could see that it's not only we may have given officially support to IIT Madras, but IIT Madras has been kind enough to involve many others, and that's how I could see for all the three missions a consortium here of so many academic institutions participating with very senior scientists, and of course scientists from abroad also coming back and joining IIT Madras, and IIT Madras giving them the privilege to be part of all these missions. So it's a great activity, and IIT Madras needs to be congratulated, complimented, felicitated for this great effort. You all know we have this is a very, very important moment in India's history, where we have a very, very dynamic Prime Minister in the form of Narendra Modi, who has extraordinary vision, unusual capabilities, and who has a very fine dream of taking India to its glorious heights, better than the ones that we enjoyed in our glorious past, and also who has a dream for which he works day in and day out to deliver a new India to all Indians by 2022. And in this new India, he wants that all those issues which have been sort of plaguing us, or which have been creating all sorts of problems for this country and its countrymen for the last 70 years, in spite of so much of advancement in all fields, their suffering should now be alleviated ultimately. And for alleviating the sufferings of these people, he has a lot of faith and confidence in the ability of scientists in particular, and science in general. As a science and technology minister myself, normally I am a man with a medicine background, and I spent almost 4 decades of my life working for the field of health as a medical student in medical college, and then a number of years in medical association, then as health minister in Delhi, and then for a decade in the World Health Organization, and then also as the Union Health Minister. My direct association with science and technology, although as a medical professional, we have also studied science, we have also studied physics, chemistry, biology, everything. But my direct association with science and its nitty-gritty has only been in the last 5 years or so, or maybe 4.5 years or so, when in November 2014 I had the privilege to become the Science and Technology Minister. And then after having become the Science and Technology Minister, I made it a point to visit virtually every science laboratory in this country and have direct interaction with the scientists, visit their laboratories, address them, interact with them, learn about science, and then see what exactly is happening in science and what is the potential of science. So there is hardly any laboratory which belongs to CSIR, biotechnology, or DST, or for that matter, earth sciences. And even this laboratories belonging to ISRO, also a large number of them I have visited in these last 4 years, and I could enjoy the privilege of seeing science from very, very close quarters, and have seen how well we are doing not only in fundamental science but also in using fundamental science, converting it into solution science or translational science, delivering products, processes, and then using the industry, and then, of course, through this route, helping the people of India to solve many of their problems and help the Prime Minister in ensuring that the large number of national missions that he has launched during the course of the last 4.5 years on health or Swachhata or digitalization or whatsoever, a number of missions. So it like helping in all those. I have got this feeling that science has the potential to virtually solve every problem of this country which remains unresolved till now. Yesterday itself I was part of two important functions in Puducherry. One was in Kadulor, that's called Kadulor. And another one was in Puducherry proper, where I was so thrilled to see that with application of science, our scientists working in the National Institute of Ocean Technology in Chennai, after doing some ocean studies, they could put some, you can say, big different types of equipments in the ocean itself, and they have restored beaches. And I could see great satisfaction and pleasure on the faces of the civil society people in Puducherry and the farmers and the fishermen in this village. So it's not only in one aspect, but virtually on many aspects. I have seen that the science has, I think, done its best, and that's why I distinctly remember that when the Prime Minister spoke at the first Science Congress, he reminded the scientific community that you all have a, like the corporate world has a corporate social responsibility, you all have a scientific social responsibility. So the research that happens inside the laboratory is not only for producing a paper or glorifying your CV or adding one more to your already glorious details, but it is to ensure that your research outcome is able to help people, and that is what he labeled as scientific social responsibility. And fortunately, I think the country has lived up to his expectations. People have risen to this call, and after 4.5 years, when I really try to evaluate where does our science stand internationally, I feel quite happy and contented that is almost on all significant parameters we are comparable to the best in the world. And just to give you an idea, I don't know, you must be having an idea about all this. A country which was caught unaware with the tsunami in 2004. We lost thousands and millions of lives, and people lost their belongings, they lost their homes, and they lost their relatives and all. Today in 2019, when I talk to you in Chennai, I think we are probably the number one country in the world where we are capable of giving a early tsunami warning, not only to Indians, but also to all the countries across the rim of the oceans. And we never give a false warning, we give a positive warning. Even Japan gives a false warning, but we never give a false warning. When we talk of weather forecasting, cyclones, and all those studies. I think we have a 10 petaflop high performance computing facility in India, and we are like number fourth in the whole world. Even the three countries which are officially ahead of us, America, England, and Japan, they are just about marginally ahead of us. And we do all the best type of things in terms of research inside the oceans. We are working for earthquakes also. I think nowhere in the world I don't think there is any research happening where I was part of a function in Maharashtra, in Koina, where they are having earthquakes continuously for almost 50 years. So our scientists have drilled, gone inside the rocky, you can say, land 7 kilometers inside, and they have put sensors at different places, and now they are making observations out of that, continuous observations, and then trying to diagnose the cause and maybe ultimately find out if you can really assess the cause of earthquake, or maybe produce a forewarn people well in time. And similarly, I was part of a function in Shillong where they were able to put up a system to measure with the help of changes in temperature, density, and etc. in the magnetosphere and ionosphere and all the above it. So they are doing inside the earth also, they are doing above the earth also, and a lot of things in fact are happening there. So similarly, you people in IIT, you understand the language of scientific publications. So we are now almost fifth, sixth in the whole world in terms of our scientific publications in leading journals of the whole world. Our growth rate is 14%. The international growth rate is just about 4%. And those who are familiar with the CSIR activity, and for you the most important CSIR activity is in your vicinity, that is CLRI. So we have 38 such institutions of CSIR in the whole country, and this is a premier scientific research organization which was born even before independence. And today I have visited many of these similar institutions all over the world. And there is a list of over 1,207 institutions like this in the whole world, which are funded by government money, and through that government money they do the research, and then they develop a product or a process and then deliver it to the society through the industry. Nobody can, none of you will be able to imagine unless you know that where does India stand, or where does India's CSIR stand in this list of 1,207 institutions all over the world, which include institutions of America, which include institutions of Germany, which are known for their meticulous precision and all those things. Our position right now, as per the latest Chicago ranking, is 9th in the list of 1,207 institutions. So this is all, in fact, hats off to our scientists, and we are into all the big missions, whether it is supercomputing mission, whether it is the gravitational waves, whether it is the largest 30-meter telescope, human genome sequencing. It used to cost $1 million. A decade back, now we are able to do it in just about $1,000. So whether it's a human genome or animal genome or plant genome, but so it's virtually in all fields we are doing our best. So we always feel proud of our scientists, and that's why with the scientific progress that has been made and assessing the scientific progress of our scientists, the Prime Minister also very confidently says that he wants to make India the top two, three, amongst the top two, three scientific nations of the whole world by 2030. Now coming back to these two, three subjects for which we have assembled here, and this mission about solar energy, I may tell you that Prime Minister has been talking about a very, very ambitious mission of 175 gigawatts of clean energy production in this country by the year 2022, out of which 100 gigawatts is just about solar energy. So you'll be very happy to know I was at a function with the Power Minister, and I have myself been watching everything from close quarters. He very confidently said that we are going to achieve this target much before the deadline that we have set for ourselves. And you will be happy to know that for 2030, our target is that out of the total energy demand of the whole country, we intend to have 40% by through clean energy only. That is the target for 2030. And when I talked to you in 2019, the latest report that we have submitted internationally, because for these global warming, climate change activities, you have to submit reports every 2 years to the international community. So the latest report that we have submitted, you'll be so happy to know that we have, I think, already achieved 34-35% out of that. Maybe the last 5% may be a little difficult to go to, but we have already achieved that much. So it is the level at which we are working. Global warming, climate change, we are talking of reducing up to 33 to 35% of the greenhouse gases emission, considering 2005 as the base level up to 2030. And I think we have already achieved something like 22% as per the report which had compiled up to 2014 itself. So on almost every front, and these mission innovation challenges for clean energy. Mission innovation is a word which was in fact coined and suggested by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself at the Paris meeting of global Paris COP. And after this mission innovation started, and this is a group of over 23 countries, with all the countries, developed countries, all the countries in the European Union and all. And I have been representing the country at all the three successive summits of mission innovation. After that, one was held in 2016 in America, San Francisco. Then it was held in 2017 in China. Then last year, it was the last one was in Sweden and Denmark. I was part of all the three, and I had represented the country there. At all these summits, the whole world, all the participating countries acknowledged the supremacy and the commitment and the sincerity and the success that we have actually achieved on this mission innovation front. In fact, in Delhi itself, we are having that international clean energy incubation center where all the countries are going to be participating. And as Dr. Sanjay Vajpayee, in fact, I'm not going to repeat all those details that Sanjay Vajpayee mentioned. So many things are happening, in fact. And we are, in fact, participating in all the 8 mission innovation grand challenges in the whole world, and co-leading in 3 for this smart grids, off grids, and the biofuels. So it's about involvement of the country at the highest level. And then when we see that institutions like IIT Madras, with a consortium of all other academic institutions, are also now into this solar energy harnessing center. We have already had so much. We launched this Surya Jyoti, a very innovative thing in Delhi. And I started that with my own constituency, and Now the Niti Aayog says you have to put millions of them in the whole country. There is this work on solar ATM. There is a work on solar jacket. There is a, if some of you get a chance to visit my place in Delhi or my office, you can see the beautiful solar tree. In a small space, how much of clean energy is generated, and it's able to take care of your. So, a lot is happening on this clean energy front, and the whole world is in fact acknowledging. And I'm happy that for this desalination thing also. In fact, I have to say one particular thing that when I have visited all these institutions all over the country, one thing that has always come to my mind is that there are a lot of things in this country which are happening at a lot of places. And somehow, for these lot of things happening at lot of places, lot of our scientists probably, they really are not aware or are not coordinating with each other. At many places I have found that the right hand probably doesn't know what the left hand is doing. Even in the same city at two laboratories, the similar thing is happening. Say somebody has done something from starting from here up to this, and there is another one who has gone up to here, and there is another one who is starting from here again. So at least for the desalination thing, let me tell you, I don't know how many of you have these who are in this consortium. You have some sort of a coordination with our Ministry of Earth Sciences. There are a huge number of massive desalination plants that have been established in Lakshadweep. I had the privilege to inaugurate a few of them recently, and I am going to inaugurate another half a dozen in the coming weeks in Lakshadweep. In fact, the total significant, you can say, requirement of water from for that island people is taken care of by these desalination plants, and I myself enjoyed drinking that water which is produced by them. This water is certainly much, I would say, tastier than the water that I get in Delhi, delivered by the Delhi government. So, my suggestion would be that I was just asking Sanjay Vajpayee that these desalination, thermal, solar thing, because I have seen all this at bigger, higher levels operating. So, if there are innovations happening, then it's very good. But if there are some newer aspects of that particular activity which are being handled, or maybe we are improving upon affordability or quality or accessibility or establishment systems, etc., etc. But there should be a coordination between every scientist doing similar work in the country. And the coordination should be of a level, I describe it in such a way that you see something under a microscope, you should know who else is seeing similar things in the microscope in the country, and you are seeing it with your eyes, and with your right hand you are writing an email to him that you found him. Yes, so this is because many of these things are actually, because I have seen now everything everywhere. So I can say, I would only suggest, I'm sure that you must be handling this aspect in a better way, but there is a need for optimal type of coordination so that whatever we do, we are also benefited from the experience of others, and others are also benefited from, because science, we know, is all, it is universal, it is technology can be localized, but science is universal, it is for everyone, it has to be shared with the rest of the world also, and we should enjoy the, you can say, successes of the world also, and that for that, a lot of programs in DST and the Science Ministry are helping, supporting scientists, going from here to there, coming from there to here. And so there is all this huge amount of activity. And similarly for this water thing, Our biotechnology department, if you go to the, if some of the scientists have get a chance to visit Barapula Nala in Delhi, you will see the IIT people and some of the foreign people, Dutch people, and our biotechnology department. They have done a lot of work converting that Barapula drain thing into potable clean water, which can be used for a number of things. So for all these projects that you have right now launched about these mission innovation, Chennai itself, we know that when you had the floods, the CSIR people helped in a big way with all their membranes and other things that they had produced. So for on the water front, on the desalination front, on the clean energy front, on the solar energy front, a lot of things are happening all over the country, all over the world. There should be a good quality coordination, and I think that will give us yield better results in you can say on a in a fast track manner. We don't need 3 years or 6 years or 7 years. You will be able to get them very fast. So well, friends, it's I think I can go on and on talking about science because I have enjoyed it so much, and at the recent Science Congress, I was forced to say that probably I used to enjoy the DNA of a doctor, but now probably it has changed to DNA of a scientist. And the type of programs that I have seen, you see now, every year 1 lakh children from these central schools and all, they have access in our laboratories. And they can see from their close quarters the high-ended science happening in the laboratories. So I always said that if I had the privilege of seeing all this when we were child, because we were taught all this science only on the blackboard, nothing else. We had even after even studying in Delhi, I never had the privilege of visiting the National Physical Laboratory. That only I could get after 6 decades of my life when I became the Science and Technology Minister. So today the children have a lot of access. The scientists are outreaching them. They have so there is a lot of scientific passion that is, I think, developing, growing. You will be happy to learn that in the recent India International Science Festival, the one which we organized in Lucknow this year, which was inaugurated by the President of India, we had a footfall of about 10 lakh people visiting that India International Science Festival. So the interest about science is growing, and the confidence of the people in science is growing. The way we are helping farmers, the way we are helping agriculture, the way we are helping solve the water issues, other issues, and producing really affordable solutions, producing affordable vaccines, affordable drugs, and virtually everything. I think so many things are happening in science. I think a bit with a bit of further change in a focused manner towards our approach, how we really make solution science stronger and stronger, and how we convert our fundamental science into translation science in a better way. I'm sure it is going to give us the greatest of dividends of all times. And for us, India has been the world leader in every field in its glorious past, including in science. And I can foresee that we will have a science which will certainly be far more glorious than we had in our past in the future times, with the support of hundreds and thousands of young scientists delivering their best in the laboratories. And of course, IITs will always play their best role in this delivery. So with these few words, I extend my heartfelt congratulations to you, greetings of the Prime Minister also. And finally, I may tell you that our Honorable Prime Minister is one who enjoys the legacy of another great Prime Minister of India, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, whom the scientific community will always remain indebted for the fact that he was the one who brought science to the center stage of Indian politics also, when he said it is not only Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, it has to be Jai Kisan. And now our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has added one more dimension to that, of which this IIT Madras is a living example. So now the Prime Minister says it has to be Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan, and also Jai Anusandhan. So it's something, I think, which gives us a lot of inspiration to put our heart and soul into what we are doing. Thank you so much for all this patient hearing and being part of this function. I really enjoyed being in IIT.